All right, everybody, welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show. It seems a little different tonight. Of course, Mr. Brian S. Red not appearing this evening. He is off doing something, so I have traveled in from beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana to help you with our Tuesday Night Music Show. And, of course, I've got Howie Darkstar, my producer. I've got Eric from New Hampshire, and I've got Mr. Kevin O.H.
I.O.
here as well. So before we even begin, though, these shows are not made possible without my agent from Dewey Cheatham and Howe, Izzy at Squits, and our great sponsors. And the one I want to call out tonight, DJ Event Planner. In the description of all of our shows, you'll see in blue the links to DJ Event Planner and our other great sponsors. So we'd really appreciate it if you clicked on the link, check them out. If you're not using them to organize your events, set up your music, get your schedules together, get your contracts together, you really should look into it. You can't do all those things alone. You're too busy dealing with your clients. So DJ Event Planner, we thank you as always for being a sponsor, and all of our other illustrious sponsors. But as I said in the beginning, this is the Tuesday Night Music Show. So as of filming right now, we are sitting on, let's look at the day. It is April 30th, 2024. So we are what we in the industry call coming into the season being the busy time for us as DJs, because we got through January. It's usually a little quiet. February, start getting those Valentine's dances, school things. March, you start getting the early weddings. April, it's been a decent month. But May, June, July, August, September, October, that's kind of the meat and potatoes of our industry. I think we'll all agree with that. Now the wedding season, and that's what we're really discussing tonight, is music at weddings is really starting to hit. So what I thought would be a good topic tonight to give a little forecasting is, what songs are you looking at for the summer? Because usually every year people say, oh, here's the new summer banger, here's the new summer track. As well as, what are you playing now that's kind of maybe different or new for the season that's coming up? So I'm going to hand things off to first our producer, Mr. Howie Darkstar. Howie, to you the question is, are there new tracks that you're looking at saying, this is moving the needle on the dance floor, comma, and are there any songs or artists that you want to forecast as being kind of a summer banger, artist or track? Take it away.
I do have one, as a matter of fact, which I really love. And it's a 40-year-old cover song.
Ooh.
And it's by Lizzie Hale and Dougherty. And called Separate Ways. And
sounds like a Journey song.
It is a Journey song, exactly.
Very nice.
What is it? It's 131 BPM, and it was put out late in 2023, and it seems to be catching on. I like it. I mean, it's very danceable, and if you're a Journey fan, you already know the words to it. So that's my pick.
Yeah, it's a Jonathan Cain written. Of course, Jonathan Cain, keyboardist for Journey, and formerly keyboardist for the Babies. It's a track that he wrote with Mr. Steve Perry. It's a great track. Gotta, love their combination of talents. But I think that's a track that I think it works for a lot of different generations. I do need to interrupt all of us for a moment. We are on the Tuesday Night Music Show, and we have been joined now by a visitor. We will call him Mr. Brian S. Red for the evening.
Nobody answers their phone or answers texts anymore?
Well, you know what, sir?
I'm like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Wait for me. Nobody paid attention to me.
We have fans, and I have a contract
Howie up,
with
I hit Jay up. Nobody paid
Dewey
attention.
Cheatham and Howe. Izzy at Squits, my lawyer, says if you don't start at this time, you don't get paid as much money.
I'm blowing down the freeway at 70. Like, Stevie, text this.
You know what? And this is the dedication that Mr. Red has to the show. And again, at the money he gets for this show, I would be that dedicated as well.
Yeah.
Brian and I are on different pay scales. Mine is only about 100,000 a show. His is much, much more. So you can see where his anger is based in. But we will come back to Mr. Red and his thoughts on our topic of the night, which is songs that you're playing now coming into the wedding season that you think are going to continue, as well as do you have a prediction of an artist or a song that you see being a summer banger? So we're now going to go to the great state of Ohio, and we're going to see what Mr. Kevin Beers has to say about this question. Kevin, tracks you're playing now that are kind of going off, as well as thoughts of an artist or song for the summer that you forecast will be the banger. Please take it away.
All right. Basically, right now, I don't really see in my crystal ball anything great out there that's coming. I'm hoping there's some artists releasing albums coming up here that'll just sort of skyrocket. What I'm playing right now is I'm Good, Houdini, of the newer ones. I like that. I like Dua Lipa. It's sort of upbeat. If I'm looking for just general songs, I like that Feathers by Sabrina Carpenter. I like Water by Tyla. But some of these are, like I said, not really dance tunes. They're more like dinner and cocktail. But I try to usually try out the new ones there, see if I get a good feel, a good vibe off of it, and then maybe then throw it into a early in the dance part, see if it works. Beyond that, I've noticed, and I try to check out, like, if there's other DJs that do like video vlogs of their events, and I will, especially if they're showing the audience, I will see and look for if the kids are standing around, like at proms, if they're dancing, if they're bouncing up and down. It's like, okay, one of them that seems to be coming back, and I think you guys have mentioned it, ABBA, Dancing Queen, and Gimme Gimme. Another one, Unwritten, by Natasha Bedingfield, seems to be popping on some of these dance floors. So those are a few of what I've doing, along with the classics and the rock, hip hop, and that stuff. There's, like I said, nothing really sticks out. You know, like there's a new Justin Timberlake, Selfish, not really a dance one. I don't know that any of Taylor's are danceable. I really haven't listened to them. I think the last one of hers was really a great one, was Shake It Off. So that's where I'm at. I'm just waiting for something great to pop.
That's very good. And I think we're all in that same space as far as waiting for something kind of big. I wanted to just throw this out there before I get to Eric and Mr. Red. I'm not misreading this, but I decided to pull up the Billboard Hot 100. Would anyone like to guess the top, and I swear this is not a joke, the top 14 tracks of the top 100, all of them?
Beyonce Goes Country.
Every single track of the top 14 tracks is Taylor Swift. I am not making this up. I am not making this up.
Wow.
I am not.
It's all based on streaming.
Yep. And this is the downside of it all. The 15th track is Benson Boone, Beautiful Things, which we all know it blew up on TikTok. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then when you get down to number 20, it again is Taylor Swift. So her album drop is taking up 3/4 of the top 20 songs. I mean, this doesn't even make sense. Well, I'm from a generation where Elton John could be number 1, Madonna number 2, Michael Jackson number 3, Def Leppard number 4. Like, there was some diversity. This is, to me, and it's not hating on Taylor Swift, but no one deserves to have the top 14 tracks on one album. This is not the White Album by the Beatles. This is not a Stones album. This is not an Aerosmith. This is a little bit disheartening. Teddy Swims, who blew up on TikTok, he's number 18. Drake, of course, has to be in the top 20. He's 19. It's really kind of sad. Oh, I'm so sorry, everyone. I spoke too soon. Let us go down to 23, 24, 25, and 26. Hey, look who's come back to visit.
But wait, there's more. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, look, number 30. Just in case you didn't get enough. I mean, if Taylor Swift were here right now, I think she would agree. I should not have 30 songs in the top 30. I mean, that's what literally, it might just be Billboard's top Taylor Swift songs. Eric, what say you in New Hampshire? What's going on there musically right now? What are you listening to? Foghat? You got some Blue Oyster Cult for us? What do you got?
Well, I got all that, but you're talking today. So,
yes.
So there's only a couple songs on my radar right now that are like recent. Not My Fault, Renee Rapp and Megan Thee Stallion. That seems to be doing pretty good,
Okay. Yeah.
You just brought up Teddy Swims and Lose Control. That's not too bad. It's not really a big dance song, but everybody seems to love it when you play it, and I don't know why. And I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say the banger of spring, or what did you say, summer?
Summer.
I'm going to say Love It On Me, Jack Harlow. I think that's going to be the banger of the summer this year.
Wow. Okay, you're the first one to predict an actual track.
That's my prediction, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah.
No, well, you know what? It is a little bit slim right now, and sadly. And while you were talking, I decided just to scroll a little bit more because I thought maybe Mr. Red is on to something. I'm now down to number 55. And where I left you off in the top 30, we have now added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more Taylor Swift songs. What album? She dropped an album. Like, how many songs are on this album? She's literally got like 40 songs here.
It doesn't matter.
I think the NFL have a lot to do with it.
And, she has a publishing machine behind her.
Well, and you know what? I think it's great. And I know her fans are rabid. And I think I'm excited for her that she's able to put out product. But there's a point where even she has to stop and say, do I deserve to be out of top 10 on 9 of them? No, right. Because it doesn't make sense. And Brian brought up something really good. Brian mentioned it's based on streaming. And it's great that people are getting back into music like that. It's great that she can do tours, sell out arenas, sell out stadiums, and really, but it's not giving any diversity in that. And the fact that Brian called it on the streaming, I'm interested to see where Brian's going right now musically, because Brian's doing not only weddings and other gigs, but Brian's on the club scene where some of us are not. So Brian's ear is not only going, I can play this at a wedding, but he's got Safe House and some other stuff where he might go, hey, this may not be a wedding banger, but I think I can throw this in a club environment. So Brian, where are you musically right now? And do you have a prediction for something for the summer?
It's strange. I mean, I felt like I had my finger on the pulse like in maybe February, but now it's like I feel like I need to start over, for May. Because
I agree with you.
March, April was off, but where I left off, and I don't think it's going away. I think it's going to be here simply because, look, people don't go out like they used to. People don't go out like when I was doing my thing. I was out several times a week. Now it's seasonal. You know what? It's spring. Let's go out 2 or 3 times. So it's not like people are going out all the time and they're getting sick of hearing the same things when they go out. But I would say this. Starting New Year's and up until I wrapped up my casino thing, the big track that just blew up, and it was odd that it did, and it was very short, was the Paul Russell Lil Boo thing. That thing went crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that song is going to stick around for summer too. And I'm thinking it might even infiltrate some weddings.
Well, it's funny you say that. I played that at 2 or 3 weddings this year. The downside being the track is roughly 2 minutes and 8 seconds long.
It's very short.
So it's not really a track. Like if they would re-release it at 3 or 4 minutes, it'd be like, oh, we've got somewhere to go. But the guy that released it, we were talking one night in the children.
Yeah, he's like not even.
He's like
like a banker or something,
isn't
he?
Hey, I got a thing here, and I'm going to do this thing. And go ahead.
I was just thinking, to be fair, I mean, that's a track you can throw in a set with a lot of things. You can throw it in disco. Obviously, it's Best of My Love Emotions. That's what it's based off of.
Yeah.
But
100%.
To Be Real, Cheryl Lynn and Emotions Best of My Love have always worked very well together. And
Yes.
Being Emotions, that's Earth, Wind, and Fire. So that works very well with it. However, it's sequenced with the backbeat, so you can, throw it in with some of your higher BPM modern dance tracks. So there's a lot of places you can use that song, which is fun. And look, I kind of appreciate a song that says what it has to say and it's done. I'm thinking about Rich Girl Hall & Oates. The song seems like it's a really long song, but it's like a minute 20.
It's
Because they said what they had to say and they got out.
Yeah.
It's not this epic, yes song or something, or this really long, progressive, what do I want to say? Moody blues track. It's just in and out. We say we had to say we're done. People talk about quick mix, and I'm thinking to myself, geez, these short tracks you don't got to quick mix these short tracks. They're already kind of there organically for you. They're short. They say what they had to say and they're out.
That's true.
100%.
I don't know, man. I mean, who knows what people's musical tastes will be? They'll let us know, and we should be ready. So
no, I think this is one of those rare years where even I'm kind of on TikTok. I've got an account. I'm in there a little bit on the daily, seeing what's going on, seeing what tracks are playing. And I was out tonight. I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana, doing a show. I was out tonight at dinner. And they played Astronaut in the Ocean. Well, I did a party 2 years ago, and the client that hired me said, this is for my boyfriend. We're celebrating a special occasion for him. He loves TikTok. So if you could play TikTok songs, and that was one of the bangers that he wanted. 2 years is a long time today musically, because that's the last time I played Astronaut in the Ocean.
Indiana, I've lived there. There are at least a few years behind the rest of the world. That takes a little while to get to Indiana.
Okay.
Like they were like doing New Jack in the end of the 90s. And they just got into rap like 10 years ago. It's
well,
weird.
They introduced a new artist on the radio today named Cardi B. So I'm not sure where they're going with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Kid Rock was a big thing like in the 2010s. They hadn't heard of him before that. It's just,
yeah. Right. So, they call him Bob out here, which is just for what it's worth. I mean, they're it's that kind of thing.
They're a little slow to catch on, but once they catch on, they catch on. They're there. They hang on for dear life once they find something.
I think
even Kid Rock said, rap rock is dead, and he was at the top of rap rock.
Well, it's become a joke of itself. I mean, Limp Bizkit is on tour. And Limp Bizkit is selling big time, arenas right now with a few acts, and their opening act is Corey Feldman. And I can't help but think, because Corey wrote a song with Fred Durst, the lead singer of Limp Bizkit, but there's also that, hey, you know what? If we put enough train wrecks together, then people will stop and watch.
It's interesting.
And I'm not, it's like. I mean, I think it's been known on this show. I know Corey. I've spoken offline with Corey a bunch of times. I've helped Corey and his now, I think, ex-wife work out problems with their set. But,
but not the problems with the relationship, obviously. Because
no, I did not get involved in that. But he believes in what he's doing so much that he's as serious as a heart attack about it. And, good for him. Good, he's now opening for Limp Bizkit. So he's gone from small to a little bit bigger to a bad video comes out a little bit bigger to, wow, we're opening at this, sports arena place. Like,
what did Ozzy Osbourne say? Be careful who you say bad things about on your way up, because you never know who you're going to run into on the way back down.
On the way back.
I think it's entirely true.
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah. Yes. And again, I talked with Corey a couple months ago, and he was all excited. He announced to me at the time, like, I'm opening for Limp Bizkit. We're really good. We're really excited. I have spoken to his keyboardist. She is now in communication with getting some stuff done with us. And, there's a lot going on in that realm. But regardless, there's nothing really coming up right now. We would traditionally look forward to the summer when I was growing up back east. Right. Because it meant everyone was going on tour. You were going to hear that guy with the great speaking voice go like, Boston, get ready. Ted Nugent, the madman of Detroit. You know, that guy would announce all these tours, and it would be $8 a ticket. And you would be going to concerts 3 times a week because they toured the summers. And then they hit the county fair circuit. And, you know, there was a lot. This summer's biggest tour that I can think of is Journey with Def Leppard. And I don't know who the third act is, but it's those 2 headliners. I mean, I would pay money to go see those 2 for the night. I think a lot of us would. But more importantly, as a DJ with events coming up, I don't really have anything I'm looking at going, this is where we're going.
Well, they're going to, your audiences are going to tell you where they want to go.
No, they will. But you like to come in a little prepared.
Well,
meaning you like to be the guy that goes, I got this new Dua Lipa track. Maybe the day it drops or a week before, you hear rumblings, so that you're prepared to at least throw something out there. I distinctly remember when Akon and David Guetta put out Play Hard, which is a sample from one of my favorite tracks of all time, Alice DJ, Better Off Alone, and Blurred Lines. They came out the same week. And I had a wedding that Saturday, and they asked for Blurred Lines and Play Hard. And I played both of them, and people were kind of like, I've never heard this, but it sounds familiar. And so did Blurred Lines, and they all loved it. But that was 10 years ago when I was trying to break music at a wedding. Right now, my clients are requesting Lana Del Rey, Dua Lipa, Beyonce. They're not digging very deep, but they're also not getting anything that's really fresh and new on the scene musically. And I feel kind of like this might be one of the first years where I'm going into the season a little bit blind. I normally have something in my arsenal where I can go, hey, the worst case scenario, I know where they're going to go. They're going to go Calvin Harris, Rihanna. That's the track to watch out for. I don't have that, Brian. And I know that groups will tell me what they want. And that's obviously reading the crowd and being ready. But you always, as a DJ, in my opinion, you want to have a little something in the tank.
Well,
that you can out of nowhere pull. And I think that's difficult this year.
10 minutes ago. Here's what I was going to say. I was going to say.
I'm sorry, Brian.
I kind of remember what I was going to say.
Watch the attitude because I can mute. But go ahead, please.
Yeah. So, yeah. The reason that I have services like Promo Only and Top Pitch USA is so I am ready. I grab this stuff and I have it. I have it before I know I need it. I have it when someone comes up and says to me, do you have this new whatever? I'm like, I've never heard of this. I type, well, look at that. I do have it. I just put it in my computer last week and I can play it. That's where these music services are so valuable. When you try to
100%.
do this as a professional DJ, I'm just saying right now, when you try to do this, when you're picking each song individually to download to save a couple bucks here and there, you go right ahead and do that, but you're not as ready as I'm going to be when they come up and blindside you with that thing, that thing. I mean, we can't keep track of it all. There are so many almost like factions of fans of music going so many different directions. It's damn near impossible to keep track of it all now. In the old days, everybody was kind of grooving to the same thing. Now, very different. So there's that. To be prepared is simply to be dialed in most of the time, to be dialed into a good music service. And I'll also say this. Yes, the music business has changed a lot. It's been going on since, downloads became a thing, and it's just getting worse. They kind of took the money out of it. So when there's no money in it, there's no motivation to do it.
Yeah.
The music business has changed. But you know what the good news is? For not only us, but our clients. I've thought about this. As melancholy as it is to think about how it's never going to be the same as it was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's cool to think that everyone in this room has lived through most of it.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that it's not like it showed up one day and it disappeared. We still have this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool that our audience remembers this stuff.
Mm.
And it's cool that so many artists haven't, and I'm a big fan of sampling. I always have been. So many artists have embraced sampling, and they're grabbing sometimes rare groove tracks and grabbing hooks and samples off of them. The people who are consuming this music have no idea this stuff is samples and hooks from other songs. They're clueless.
Mm-hmm.
So if you dig and you grab something that Beyonce sampled or Jay-Z sampled or, you know, whoever sampled and play it, you're going to blow somebody's mind. Oh my God, I've never heard this whole song.
Right.
I was watching this thing the other day, thinking about this. Some reaction videos, some young guys who are into hip hop. They thought they'd check out this song that they'd never heard of by this band called The Police called Every Breath You Take.
Oh, yeah.
And they thought, yeah, let's listen to this. And of course, immediately like, you mean that P. Diddy didn't make that himself? That's not original? That's where this is from? And then they're freaking out about the rest of the song and how cool the rest of the song is that they'd never heard before because they'd only heard kind of the intro sampled or maybe not sampled. What is it like a reimagined, redone, whatever with
of the
I don't know.
track. Sure.
There's stuff to think about when we're programming. There's stuff to take into consideration as to what our audiences are actually turned on to. And if you win them over and you get clever about it, sometimes you can sneak some of that stuff in, and they're going to love you for it with the right audience. You can't just throw it in like a hand grenade. You got to know what you're doing. You got to use some finesse about this, kind of coax them into a situation where you can do things like this. But a lot of possibilities. It's not time to just get a sword out and commit hara-kiri. It's time to be resourceful and think about what we do have and how just amazing it was that we were alive in this moment in time of history where we got all this great music and we love this great music that will just last forever. We can just keep using it. In the meantime, we get Lil Boo thing.
Yeah. It's funny you touch on something that I wanted to also speak about. One, you've done a bunch, more than I have, videos on samples where they come from, famously some Daft Punk videos.
Sure.
Which are, if you haven't seen Brian's videos on that, please go to Brian Esred on YouTube. He's got some insane sampling, where it came from and all that. It inspired me enough that I did a video one day of showing a bunch of different original tracks, and you can hear the sample to where it came from. And they're all usually about late 60s, early 70s, mid 70s tracks. But you talked about something that I felt when I came up with the topic, which is, as much as I'm like, I don't have a banger for the summer, I don't have something in my gun. And Brian K mentioned Dua Lipa's got 3 singles on her new product. I agree with him. I mean, I'm still getting mileage out of Dua Lipa. She's become, to me, the new Rihanna, where we were playing like 4 Rihanna tracks a night. Now it's like we're playing 1 Rihanna and 3 Dua Lipas. So I agree with you on that one, Brian. But I think the benefit to us as DJs, and especially at our ages, is that now people have kind of hit the wall of what's new. And as Brian said, they're looking back. Well, guess what? That's our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like our strength is in what's already happened.
Didn't Fleetwood Mac do the whole Dreams thing on TikTok a couple years ago?
They did. The guy on the skateboard would drink.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Dreams is a new song. It's like, really? Come on.
Well, and that's the thing. You brought up.
It actually hit number 1. Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So the fact that the Billboard charts.
2 generations are like, oh, wow. Fleetwood Mac. Wow.
Yeah, the fact that the Billboard charts are so skewed to what's going on around us because of streaming, because of new product being launched by whoever, it actually puts us in a great position. So I think we all kind of started this topic with, we're kind of screwed. We don't have songs. We don't, what's new? None of us were like running to like 10 songs they wanted to run with. I look at it the exact opposite and say, well, that means they're listening to older music. And guess what? The music that I already know. So This topic sounded in the beginning like, tell me what you're doing that's new. And it's a struggle. No. Look at the other flip side. The flip side is what we already went through, what we already know is great music is where our clients are going to run to now, because there's not a lot of new releases. There isn't a new pool.
I guarantee you, Jay, there's going to be a time this summer, and I don't know when it is, and I'm not even going to be hyper aware of it actually happening, but I guarantee you, I'm going to do Paul Russell, Lil Boo thing. I'm going to mix in Emotions, The Best of My Love. Somebody out there is going to say, what's this? I've never heard this before. It sounds like Paul Russell, but it's clearly not.
Yeah.
Right. 100%.
That's cool.
2 years ago, I was heavily monitoring because of what Chris Cox one day said famously in a group where I think Howie was there. I don't think you were, Brian, but it was with Cascade and Deadmau5.
Yep.
And Chris Cox was in a Zoom room with them, and Howie was there. I was there.
Yeah.
And they said something to Chris about, you got any remixes? And he said, no, the labels aren't spending money on remixes. They're pouring it all into TikTok.
Yeah.
And at the time they were. Now TikTok's kind of on the edge, and Instagram Reels have blown up, YouTube Shorts have blown up, all that. There's a new marketplace. But think for a second, the songs that are available to choose are the songs they're giving you. I mean, there's still a manipulation. It's not like, here's 27 million tracks. What do you want to hear? It's, here's what's fashionably in style, dictated by people that give you 30 seconds who may or may never have heard this song. The other day I had a wedding, and I said to the bride, she didn't know what to do for the father-daughter. And I said, do you have any memories of you and your dad dancing? She's like, what do you mean? I said, what's your earliest memory? I mean, dads dance with their daughters in the house to Neil Diamond or this one and that one or whatever the case may be. And you could see the light bulb go off. She's like, oh my God, Paul Simon, can you play this? And I'm like, sure. But I think that's where we're headed, which to me is a great place to go, because they're not going to ask me what the new Drake track is. They're going to come to me with, hey, have you ever heard of this band Aerosmith? Have you ever heard of this artist George Michael? Because they have nowhere to go. If you don't have any source of influence, where do you go? You go to your family and friends. So if they go to their parents, now we're right back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And it's going to be beautiful because we're prepared.
Yeah, because you could go with Van Morrison, Dancing in the Moonlight. Oh my God, they're like, I never heard this before. I love this.
I do King Harvest.
It's like the old.
You know what? King Harvest is so. And this is the one area with that track. I wish I'd never heard that the guy that wrote it had that incident on an island. And, all this stuff went on with some date, and he got beat up and was in the hospital.
I got some Phil Collins in the air tonight stories I could tell you.
No. This was actually in an interview from him.
I know.
So it's legit. But that song is so on point now. I don't think I've done an event this year where that was not requested. And it's sort of weird.
For everybody. Don't run it.
No. I'm not going to tell the story at all. But what I am going to ask is this. My weddings this year, if I were to lay out the music that was requested for all of the events I've done this year, I bet you it's 30% similar tracks, 30% the same tracks, almost a third of what each wedding requests. And here's the best part. The tracks they're requesting that are similar are 10, 20, 30 years old.
Before I catch on fire.
Yeah.
What's that?
Before I catch on fire. Because I'm going to catch on fire soon. It's just going to happen. I'm going to spontaneously combust because I'm really hot.
Oh, no.
Do you
Maybe
remember?
Take your jacket off.
I want to, but do you remember last week when I told you that I had a members only jacket?
Yes.
I'm wearing it.
Oh,
and
you
I wanted to show it to you before I took it off.
Please, do you mind modeling during the show?
This is my members only jacket. It is a Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Jean-Michel Basquiat. Yes.
Yeah, see?
Look at that. The
Look at
banana,
that.
the crown,
Look at
the
that.
dinosaur,
Oh my gosh!
On the back.
Look at that.
Japanese writing, Basquiat.
Oh,
For you
Wow.
no wave fans out there, there you go.
Wow.
This is obviously somebody that we are not worthy to have on our show. Elevated.
We're not going to get into
next
Jean-Michel
level.
Basquiat. We're not going to get into the movie.
Madonna.
Yeah, we're not going to get into the whole Madonna connection. That's another show. I just wanted to show you my members only jacket. If you're going to have a members only jacket, I think this is
that's the jacket to have. I have to agree with you. I have to agree with
you. That's probably worth a couple of the albums he owns.
Maybe.
Well, and you know what? I want to tie something in before we wrap this show up tonight.
Now I feel better.
And
thank you.
I think I'm so glad Brian did make it because I have the opportunity today to take some photographs. As I mentioned earlier, I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at a place called Sweetwater, and I'm doing a show with my road dog. With my drink. There we go.
Christian,
Pulse, aka Christian, who's over there. He can't hear us because I have ear.
He's waving. He can hear.
He is waving, and we were showing a PLX 1000 record player with our new Euphonia mixer, which is our best sounding mixer ever. Has, 32-bit analog to digital, digital to analog.
This is a brand new
converters,
piece.
Wow.
Brand new piece, along with a Rupert Neve transformer running at 96 kilohertz with a 64-bit floating processor in the DSP. So it's next level stuff. But the
lots
point
of
is,
words. Yeah.
Lots of words. The gentleman that we're working with, I said, do you have any vinyl? And he brought some vinyl, and he brought a piece of vinyl that he bought at a garage sale for $1. And it's a double album. And on the back of it, it actually says no samples were used in the recording of this. Each vinyl, one is green. It looks like green marble, and the other is purple. And I now have it on Tidal, but I'm going to show a picture of it because it is just random music, noise / songs. I think Brian will probably have it. If he does not, after the show, he will look it up. The album, I think this is the artist. The artist is De Facto, and the album is called Megaton Shot Blast. Does that look at all familiar to you, Brian? That is the front of it.
Yeah, it actually does look familiar. Yeah.
Okay, and that's the back of it, and that's where it claims to have no samples.
Right. I don't own it, but I've seen it. Yeah.
It is. The way I could describe it to you is if you were in a room and Quentin Tarantino walked in, this album is what you should be playing. It's just that artsy, weird noise kind of. It's really cool. Like I've already gotten it on Tidal.
Is it like Freddie Fresh kind of stuff where it's just?
Would you say it's like Freddie Fresh? It's surf, kind of Mexican, Latin fusion.
Sometimes like Freddie Fresh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like Freddie Fresh.
Kind of breakbeat sounding, but not.
Yes, a little breakbeatish. Yes. And it's really out there. But again, I wasn't looking for the new Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Dua Lipa track, but now I've got something from 1973 that I'm going to play bits of at upcoming events during cocktail or dinner. And I will again be the DJ because they will say to me, hey man, I've never heard this. No, you haven't. It was only released on vinyl. It was only available at this period of time, and you weren't born yet. So as we kind of wrap the show up, initially when we started, it was, hey, tell me what you're playing now and what's your big summer banger. Underneath that, in my opinion, what I wanted to end up with is kind of where we did. I wanted to sort of prove, you know what? We're mobile DJs who know a ton of music, and we're not soothsayers or crystal ball looking people that can forecast but we are people that do know great music from all different genres, different decades. And I think if that's who you are and that's what you have, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about predicting the future. The future will tell us what people want to hear. But in the meantime, they want to hear what you know as a DJ. So we're going to end a little bit early. We're going to give John a break on the 1 hour thing. I want to thank Brian for coming in. I apologize if we missed calls and texts from you, of course.
No, don't
Howie,
apologize. I was just trying to like take the burden off of everybody. But
no, and we appreciate that. The bat signal went out even here in beautiful Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I saw it in the sky saying like, "Hey, I'm playing shuttle to the airport. I may not make it." Yeah. Then John C. wasn't able to come in. Fortunately, our producer Howie, who's looking good tonight, looking healthy, so we're happy about that. He was available. I came in. Ken was going to help us out. Kevin did stay on. Ken stayed off. Eric was here for a bit. He may have lost power. He lives in New Hampshire. The stuff that goes on there, it's not even funny. Thank you, Brian K., for adding some tracks into the chat. I appreciate that. And, of course, as always, it's our Tuesday night show, which is really where we want to focus on music. We're all DJs, and that's our passion. And really, at the root of it, what we do for a living. So I want to thank everyone from DJ Event Planner and all our other sponsors. Of course, John. And until we see you guys all again, please stay well and stay safe. Until next time.
That was very right about now. The Funk Soul Brother, wasn't it? It was cool.